A development few anticipated has begun to unfold in a region long defined by complexity and caution, as the name of Nnamdi Kanu once again moves to the center of national conversation, this time from the heart of Sokoto, where signals of a dramatic shift are beginning to emerge. What was once considered a distant possibility is now being discussed with growing urgency as northern leaders, voices of influence and authority within their communities, are reportedly stepping forward to advocate for a path that prioritizes dialogue over division and peace over prolonged tension. The atmosphere surrounding this development is charged with both hope and uncertainty. Hope, because the language of reconciliation is beginning to surface in a space where silence and caution have often prevailed. Uncertainty, because the implications of such a shift are profound, touching on legal, political, and social dimensions that extend far beyond any single individual. For years, the situation surrounding Nnamdi Kanu has remained one of the most sensitive and debated issues within Nigeria's national discourse. It has sparked strong emotions, deep divisions, and ongoing conversations about justice, unity, and the future of the country. Now, with reports of northern leaders pushing for an urgent peace deal, a new chapter appears to be taking shape. Sources familiar with the evolving situation suggest that behind-the-scenes consultations have intensified. Meetings, discussions, careful deliberations among individuals who understand both the weight of history and the urgency of the present moment. These are not casual engagements. They are strategic. They are deliberate. They are driven by a recognition that the current path may require a new approach. In Sokoto, the mood is described as reflective yet attentive. Community leaders, political observers, and everyday citizens are all watching closely, aware that what is being discussed could have far-reaching consequences. There is a growing sense that the conversation is no longer confined to familiar lines of argument. It is expanding, evolving, opening space for perspectives that were once considered unlikely. At the center of this unfolding moment is the idea of a peace deal, a concept that carries both promise and complexity. Promise, because it suggests the possibility of resolution. Complexity, because it raises questions about terms, conditions, and the path forward. What would such a deal look like? Who would be involved in shaping it? How would it be received by different segments of the population? These are the questions now echoing across discussions. For supporters of Nnamdi Kanu, the reports from the north are being interpreted as a significant and encouraging development, a sign that new voices are entering the conversation, a signal that the possibility of change may be closer than it once seemed. For others, the situation is approached with caution, a recognition that while dialogue is important, the path to resolution must be carefully managed to ensure stability and fairness. This balance between hope and caution defines the current moment. It is a moment where expectations are rising, but so too is the awareness that outcomes are never guaranteed. Observers note that the involvement of northern leaders adds a unique dimension to the situation. The north holds significant influence within Nigeria's political and social landscape. Its voices carry weight. Its positions can shape national direction. And when those voices begin to advocate for peace in a matter of this magnitude, it inevitably draws attention. Across the country, reactions are beginning to surface. Some view this as a turning point. Others see it as the beginning of a longer process. Many are simply waiting, watching, listening for clarity in a situation that continues to evolve. What remains clear is that this development has already altered the tone of the conversation. Where once there was a sense of fixed positions, there is now movement. Where once there was limited engagement, there is now dialogue. And where once there was uncertainty about the willingness to explore new paths, there is now visible indication that such exploration is underway. For Nnamdi Kanu, this moment represents a potential shift in the trajectory of a long and complex situation, a moment that could influence not only personal circumstances, but also broader national dynamics. As the story continues to unfold, attention remains firmly fixed on the next steps. Will discussions translate into concrete proposals? Will proposals evolve into agreements? Will agreements lead to lasting peace? These are the questions that now define the national conversation. Because in moments like this, where change begins to take shape, the path forward is never simple. It is layered. It is delicate. It requires careful navigation, thoughtful leadership, and a commitment to outcomes that serve the greater good. For now, the signals from Sokoto remain a powerful reminder that even in the most complex situations, the possibility of a new direction can emerge. And as that possibility continues to grow, so too does the attention of a nation waiting to see what happens next. The unfolding momentum is beginning to reshape conversations in ways that were once considered unlikely, as more voices across the northern region quietly align around the idea that dialogue may offer a path that confrontation could not resolve. In Sokoto and beyond, there is a noticeable shift in tone. Not loud, not dramatic, but steady, deliberate. A tone that suggests careful thinking is taking place behind the scenes, where leaders are weighing not only the immediate impact of their decisions, but also the long-term consequences for national unity and stability. Reports indicate that consultations are expanding, drawing in a wider circle of stakeholders: traditional authorities, religious leaders, political figures, individuals whose influence reaches deep into communities and whose words carry the power to shape public perception. This widening of engagement reflects a recognition that any meaningful peace effort must be inclusive. It must consider multiple perspectives. It must address concerns that have been expressed over time, and it must build a foundation strong enough to support lasting understanding. At the center of these discussions remains the question of how to translate intention into action. Because while the language of peace is powerful, it is only the beginning. What follows requires structure, clarity, commitment. There are indications that preliminary frameworks are being explored, not yet finalized, not yet publicly detailed, but present. Concepts that outline possible pathways forward, each carrying its own set of challenges and opportunities. For Nnamdi Kanu, this evolving landscape introduces a new dimension to an already complex reality. A dimension shaped not only by legal processes, but by shifting political and social dynamics. A dimension where dialogue could intersect with existing frameworks in ways that redefine expectations. Observers note that moments like this require careful balance. Too much speed can lead to missteps. Too much caution can slow momentum. Finding the right pace becomes essential. And within that balance lies the possibility of progress. Across Nigeria, the response continues to grow in depth and intensity. In the southeast, where emotions around this issue have long been deeply felt, there is a sense of cautious optimism, a hope that engagement from northern leaders could open doors that have remained closed. At the same time, there is awareness that expectations must be managed, that outcomes depend on factors that extend beyond any single conversation. In the north, reactions are equally layered. Some see the push for peace as a necessary step toward reducing tension and fostering national cohesion. Others approach it with questions, seeking clarity on how such efforts align with broader priorities and principles. This diversity of opinion highlights the complexity of the moment. It is not a single narrative. It is a collection of perspectives, each contributing to a larger picture that continues to evolve. Meanwhile, analysts are beginning to explore the broader implications of this development. They point to the potential for this moment to influence future approaches to conflict resolution within the country, to serve as an example of how dialogue can be initiated even in situations that appear deeply entrenched, to demonstrate that leadership, when aligned with a shared vision of stability, can open pathways that were previously unseen. Yet, alongside these possibilities, there remains a clear understanding that challenges persist. Complex issues do not resolve themselves quickly. They require sustained effort. They require trust. And trust, once tested, takes time to rebuild. This is why, according to those closely following the situation, the coming days and weeks will be critical. They will reveal whether the current momentum can be maintained, whether discussions can move from exploratory stages to concrete actions, whether the initial signals of change can evolve into tangible outcomes. For now, the focus remains on continuity, ensuring that conversations do not fade, ensuring that engagement does not stall, ensuring that the energy surrounding this moment is channeled into constructive progress. Because in situations like this, momentum is everything. It can carry a process forward, or it can dissipate, leaving behind unanswered questions and unfulfilled expectations. As the nation watches, there is a growing awareness that this moment carries significance beyond its immediate context. It speaks to the possibility of rethinking approaches, of bridging divides, of finding common ground in places where differences have long defined the narrative. And while the outcome remains uncertain, the emergence of dialogue itself is a development that cannot be overlooked. Because in the landscape of national challenges, the willingness to engage is often the first and most important step toward change. The story continues to unfold, quietly, carefully, but with a sense of purpose that is becoming increasingly difficult to ignore. And as each new detail emerges, the nation remains attentive, aware that what is happening now could shape conversations for years to come. You have stayed with us, you have listened, you have followed every update, and that tells me something powerful. It tells me you care about what is happening around you. It tells me you value truth, clarity, and information that truly matters. This channel was created for people like you, people who refuse to be left in the dark, people who want real updates, real stories, and real insight into the events shaping our nation every single day. But to keep bringing you these stories, to keep digging deeper, to keep delivering news that is timely, accurate, and meaningful, we need your support. And that support begins with one simple action. Subscribe to this channel. When you subscribe, you are not just following a page. You are standing for awareness. You are choosing to stay ahead. You are joining a growing community that believes information is power and truth must always be heard. Every time you hit that subscribe button, you help this platform grow stronger. You help us reach more people. You help us continue telling the stories that matter most. So right now, take that step. Subscribe, turn on notifications, and stay connected to every breaking development as it happens. Because the next story could be the one that changes everything.